I'd kinda like to have some, like, Star Wars music for the part where the hat comes down onto the head like Darth Vader. Much like Darth Vader, I have this misshapen head that needs to be under a helmet to really maximize the force that my words tend to carry just by virtue of me being one of the best hosts on the internet. Unfortunately, I do not need my misshapen head detracting from the information we give you every single segment here on the University of Smooth. Resumption of our lessons in mimetic desire. When I first moved to this new town a year and a half ago, met this woman, very, very attractive, and on top of that, we had a explosive level of chemistry between us. We had a few encounters in which I was actually shocked at how intense it was, and on top of that, this woman was throwing herself at me. Hell, obvious. I mean, I was wearing my hat, so she saw how attractive my head was when it was covered by my hat. So here is where we get into this notion of sexual attraction meaning one thing. Ooh, weird hand stuff going on. I better use this side because there's more to work with over here. Sexual attraction on the one hand and desire on the other. We had this baseline level of attraction that was really high. And on top of that, she was extraordinarily attractive. Here's the interesting thing, though, and this is why things get complex when we have to be human beings. Based on her behavior, she signaled to me an extraordinarily high level of sexual availability, sexual interest, and she also signaled to me that she wanted to be treated like a sex object. She did not express much interest whatsoever in being treated like a human being. We talked about a few small talk topics here and there, but steered everything back towards sex. Now, for me, I don't know about you guys. I think I know one thing about a lot of you guys. You also like sex. I like sex. And when an attractive woman wants to be that available to me, you know what? I tend to indulge her. But here is how the mechanism of desire plays out. I have high attraction for her, high chemistry. We indulge this. And even though this is great, this is fantastic. And by the way, this is worth more than just one encounter. Still, I did not have any desire beyond this. None of my interest went above where the sex ended. Her humanity did not start after her sexuality began. Why is this? Because she showed me through her behavior and her words that she wasn't interested in being treated like a human being. She wasn't interested in being treated with a total lack of respect, but she wanted to be treated like a sex object and nothing else. That is how I imitated her view of herself. She had no interest in her own humanity beyond her sexual availability. I had no interest in her humanity beyond her sexual availability. I imitated her lack of interest in herself by displaying a total lack of interest in herself. After a couple of encounters, I was interested in perpetuating this. Who wouldn't be? But I didn't see it as anything worth salvaging, worth following up. And eventually life got in the way. I moved on. I stopped pursuing and went our separate ways. If we're fortunate enough, we have encounters like this on a semi-regular basis. Yeah, maybe we want more, but if you have these, they're great. And when they fizzle out, you're kind of like, okay, that's fine. On to the next. Would you meet her again? Would you smash again? Absolutely. But there was nothing else there. So it didn't feel like much of a loss to me. Fast forward about a year and change, and I happen to be on my phone and got this notification from Facebook that I might be interested in Facebook's dating app. I wasn't particularly interested in Facebook's dating app, but I was bored at the time and I thought, you know what, I'll bite. I've been against apps for a while and I stand by that. If you're not a certain level of attractiveness, they're not only a waste of your time, but they're basically soul sucking engines. I think they are for anybody. They squeeze your humanity out of you. But I thought, you know what, let's give it a few minutes of my time. And after about 10 minutes of swiping, I realized, nope, I can't do this. I absolutely cannot do this. I will not do this. I'm done with this level of interaction with people. But this girl who I had met a year before, she was there. So I swiped on her profile and she texted me fairly shortly after I swiped on that profile and we started to have a conversation again. It was a pleasant conversation and she was A little slightly heartbroken that things didn't continue between us. She was saddened by the fact that I never called her back. I never texted her again. I never followed up. On my side, I was interested in seeing her again. Enough time had passed. And by the way, this is a very, very attractive woman. And it's not like I hated her. I just was a little taken aback by the fact that she had no interest in being seen as anything other than a sex object. This time around, I thought, let's just see if there's something there. So we start to re engage. The attraction is still there. I still find her very attractive. We meet and have a lovely evening out, having a drink at a bar, and the chemistry is there as well. So here is where things get interesting. In the interim, I had taken my eyes off the ball a little bit in terms of my game, was not especially tight with my game, had been sort of preoccupied with a number of other things going on in my life. So was not giving due consideration to the fact that you have to be very mindful of certain things when interacting with women that you're interested in. And also, I was having a little fun with it, decided to do a little push pull on this girl. And beyond the attraction, I was looking for something more. I was looking for whether there was desire there. And in fact, as part of our interactions, I decided to have a little fun and express an overwhelming desire for her. Push, 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 then pull. Here's the difference though. Having lost a little focus on my game, I forgot to start pulling. I was pushing, I was pushing, I was pushing, I was pushing, and way past the point when I should have started pulling back, I was still pushing. So the chemistry there, the sexual attraction there. Now there's the desire there. But what happens this time around? She goes cold on me. What did I do when I pushed, push, 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 push? The same thing she did when she treated herself like nothing more than a sex object. She instructed me to imitate her lack of interest in her as a human being by doing likewise. I instructed her by expressing and almost like having to a cartoonish degree, expressing this overarching desire for her. She expressed that same desire for herself. This is the atom that men have to split when it comes to understanding desire. It's not always the end all and be all. It does not destroy every single relationship because sexual market value is this durable concept that can overcome even these disasters of desire. But what you need to understand, especially if you do not have all sorts of bulletproof sexual market value in terms of your body, your game, your looks, or your clout, that desire can destroy relationships. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and final thought. I want you to get this distinction down. You do not imitate sexual interest, you imitate desire. She imitated my desire for her by having desire for herself. Or at least she did not have the same desire for me that I wanted her to have by expressing that desire for her. That's not how desire works. Sexual attraction is totally distinct. We're playing in the same game with the same players, but this is why it's so critical for you to understand within the context of game that you can have this sexual attractiveness, your raw looks, your physicality, hers, and no imitation happens. It's just like, are you fit enough for me? Am I fit enough for you? But when you start to get into the realm of desire, people imitate and they can imitate their way right out of relationship opportunities by not checking themselves, not knowing when to pull back, but also, most importantly, not desiring the right things on the right terms. Take care.